What's up, Worcester State? Welcome to First Year to Fearless. I'm Thomas Kelly.
And I'm Tammy TKay, and we're your guides through the ups, downs, and everything in between during your first year as a Lancer. Each week, we'll break down the experiences, challenges, and campus support that make the difference in turning your first year into a fearless one.
Tammy, we're back. We have a podcast.
Week 2.
For those of you who listened last week, this is episode 2 of First Year to Fearless. You can find First Year to Fearless on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and we're gonna do some more. I talked to a student yesterday, and they said that they use YouTube Music, so
Perfect.
we're gonna find more places to put this podcast.
We're spreading.
Yes. Also, you can follow us on social media at FY2 Fearless on Instagram, maybe TikTok soon. I don't know, but yeah, we have social media. We have a podcast. We're here.
The excitement is growing.
It is. All right, so let's recap last week. Last week we talked about new student fall welcome. We talked about the first week of classes.
We did.
What'd you think of the new student fall welcome?
It was so great.
Yeah.
There were I think I counted over 650 new students, all sitting, listening, quiet. But the energy was great. Our faculty were there. My staff were helping out, seating students, smiling, getting to know them. I definitely told them to listen to the podcast.
Good. Yeah.
I forced them
Yeah.
to listen to the podcast.
I saw you actively soliciting students to listen to the podcast. You're like, "Did you know we have a podcast?"
They smiled. They entertained me.
When I feel uncomfortable, I also smile. That's just like a reaction. But yeah, no, it was a great day. Convocation was an incredible ceremony. Shout out to the orientation team, Office of Student Involvement, Leadership Development, and your folks in the Academic Success Center, and all the faculty and staff who volunteered throughout the day. Convocation was an incredible, powerful, motivating ceremony. And there was sessions throughout the day sponsored by faculty through Title IX and so much more. It was just a really cool day. Really excited to see all of our new students coming to campus.
Yeah, students were active the entire day. The community was abuzz. I really hope that they engaged in activities that kind of took the edge off for that big first day. And here we are.
Yeah, absolutely. I was walking around on Tuesday after the new student fall welcome, getting some signage ready in some different buildings. And it was great to see so many students navigating buildings and making sure they knew where their classes were for the first few days. Great to see.
It was great to get lost on the first day.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of people that had it figured out. So it was great to see. And it was a great time for me to plug the podcast. I said, "Did you listen to the podcast? We talked about trying to find your classrooms before the semester began."
And they were like, "Yeah, that's why I'm here."
They did not say that.
Okay.
There was a lot of students who said that they would listen to it, though. And I told them they didn't have to lie to me.
Okay.
Cool. First day of classes gone well.
Yeah, it was great. I rolled onto campus. Parking looked like parking.
Yeah.
People were pulling into spots, getting out of their car,
Yeah.
and walking to class.
Absolutely.
Everybody was in sync.
Yeah, we had a lot of great positive student traffic on the first floor of the administration building. That's our academic mall. That's where you're going to find financial aid, student accounts, the registrar's office, the Academic Success Center, Student Accessibility Services, our one card office. And it's been great to see so many smiling students stopping at our early support table. We had an early support table in the administration building on the first floor. So
Is that where I got the little fidget spinner?
Fidget spinner, yeah.
Yep.
I've been telling students, I said, "Do you want a fidget spinner that's just like a little bit too big?" Which makes
It is big.
It's like it's like a frustrating spinner.
It's like a person you're carrying.
Yeah, if you're watching the live video, it's kind of like a steering wheel.
It's huge. Fidget spinners are supposed to be discreet,
Yeah.
small, and just, getting the job done. That is
Yeah,
that's a toy.
It's a steering wheel. So, yeah.
Good job.
But yeah, we're real proud of them. Yeah, no, it's just been the first few days of class has just been great. It's been so awesome seeing students navigating campus, and it's just been beautiful.
We do a lot to get ready for that first week,
Hmm.
and the tables, the events, the supports, and I just want everybody to know we do not take our foot off the gas.
Hmm.
It is week 2, and we
Yeah,
know there's work and support that still needs to happen, so that is why we're back.
yeah. So let's talk about week 2. Let's talk about settling in and finding a flow. So after your first week, you probably had a lot of W's, a lot of wins. You might have had some losses, some L's, and maybe this is a good time to take a look back and say, okay, what needs to go a little bit different for the upcoming week to just be a little bit better. And it could be like little things. Hey, I have to make sure that my automobile has
Gas in it?
gasoline. Yeah, right?
Look at that.
You gotta make sure like, "Oh, I'm gonna stop for gas in the morning, then I'm gonna drive to campus." No, no, no. Get gas the night before, all
Do
right?
it.
Minimize those things that are gonna distract you. Um,
Sunday reset. You
Sunday
know,
reset.
I did a session this summer, to help students be successful in those first couple weeks, and one thing we talked about was a Sunday reset. Every week, you have a chance to do it differently,
Yeah.
to do it better, to make some changes, and that's just what Sunday nights are for. A lot of people talk about the Sunday scaries. It really should be a Sunday reset.
I like that. Put a positive spin on it. Absolutely.
Nothing to be scared about.
I agree. Well, especially at Worcester State. So after the first week, maybe it's that opportunity to reset and evaluate, what does time management look like?
Right.
So even if that is, you know, packing a snack the night before, making sure that all of your books or all your resources are in the same place or the right place so that when you're getting ready in the morning, you can grab and go, right?
Sometimes when you have a problem like that, like this is not working.
Yeah,
X is not working. And you think about it as you're driving in, your downtime, and you're still not getting over that hump to solve whatever X is. That's where your academic advisor can step in.
sure.
So still pop in the Academic Success Center, say, trying to do that Sunday reset thing that the podcast talked about, but I can't figure it out. And your advisor can talk you through it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another thing that, especially heading into the second week, that you might be learning is just kind of like balancing all of these new responsibilities with existing responsibilities.
Mhm.
So if you have a job or jobs, or you have personal or social responsibilities, how do you make all these things work together? And for me, a little bit of it is like taking a slow step back. What is the slight compression that you can do that will allow you to find the amount of time that you need to put towards things so that then you can expand a bit. So I know that for some students, it's maybe reducing their work hours for the first or second or third week of the semester until they find a really comfortable flow and best understand what all these new expectations are like and how all these responsibilities come together.
Agreed.
Yeah. So I kind of think of it as like if you played baseball or softball and you played the outfield and there was a pop fly, they always tell you to your first step is back, not forward, so the ball doesn't go
Oh,
over your
I
head.
thought the first step was get out of the grass and stop picking the flowers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
So
no.
you're
It's like
already
take a step.
vertical. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Take a step. You got to take a step back to take a step forward. And I
It
think
makes sense.
finding balance and understanding how all these new responsibilities come together. That's a great piece of advice. And if that's the incorrect advice for baseball or softball, put it in the comments on Instagram and say that is not how you cover a fly ball.
I think you got to call it up first.
I,
My ball, right?
yeah, I
Okay.
think there is a part of that's yeah, you got to call other people off. So cool. So we're heading into the second week. Let's talk about some of the important dates that are coming around.
Academic stuff.
Yeah, so one of we talked a little bit last week about maybe if you needed to make adjustments to your schedule because of maybe the time of them. Um, the last
Let's be
day,
honest. it's okay if the topic isn't resonating with you. If it's a class where you are you're just not feeling it.
Sure, but
Okay.
like I like to use the example of the time of it.
Sure.
The time's not working for you.
Okay.
So if the time is not working for you, you have until September the 9th, which this episode is coming out on Monday the 8th. So you have until tomorrow to add any day classes that you would like to add to your schedule.
And let me tell you time,
Hmm.
because we're open till 4:30 that day.
Yep.
If you're a first year student, you know you still have that little tiny hold on your account
Yeah.
that causes you to have to work with our office to manually do that change. So you technically have until 4:30 on 9/9
Yep.
to make that change, to
Y-
add into that new day class.
Absolutely. You want to add a day class, come see your academic advisor by September the 9th at 4:30. Now, if you want to drop a day class or add or drop an evening course, you have until Tuesday, September the 16th.
Another week.
Another week.
Another week.
So, and again, just like Tammy said, you'll do that with your academic advisor in the Academic Success Center.
The one piece of advice about making all these changes, there are times where you want to consider things like financial aid, your athletic eligibility, living on campus. So there are some times where dropping a bunch of classes is not a great idea. But that's why the advisor hold is there, because they'll navigate that with you.
Yeah, absolutely. As you're making adjustments to your schedule and perhaps the number of courses you're registered for, you do want the support of and guidance of an academic advisor for maybe some of the unintended that come with making
Yeah,
schedule
there's a lot
adjustments.
that you don't know could be impacted by making those changes.
Cool. So as you're heading into your second week, I want to call back this theme that came through during the new student fall welcome by a lot of the speakers, whether it was our alumni speaker or our faculty. Um, and it is about making connections and the importance that connections have to our sense of belonging to the institution and how we're able to navigate these new spaces. So this is heading into your second week. It's a great opportunity to make connections with other classmates. You're going
Agreed.
to start seeing assignments come through, and maybe you're somebody who needs to be working in a group, and maybe that's an opportunity to maybe establish some study groups or a routine with those folks so that you can share notes or discuss class topics, but really support each other one on one or as a group academically.
A lot of folks will say, make a friend,
Yeah,
introduce yourself. Um, when we talk about that, we're saying more make those connections. So when you go to class, you feel like it's a community. We're not asking you to now make friends, lifelong friends that you hang out all the
sure.
time and you're together 7 days a week. This is really just for these 15 weeks to feel like you walk into a space where you know a couple people, you can rely and lean on them. And guess what? They're looking for that too. So it doesn't have to go outside the classroom. It would be amazing if it did,
Mhm.
but just keeping it in those classroom settings is really what we're talking about for this piece.
Yeah, it's about getting beyond just the introduction. Getting beyond the my name is and I sit in this seat. And that goes beyond just your classmates. It's a great opportunity to make those connections with your faculty. There was a lot of stories from faculty throughout the new student fall welcome about using office hours and how those office hours are for more than just discussing concepts that are coming up in class. I also heard a lot of faculty say that they have candy during office hours, and I think
It's a lot of food talked about.
I'm gonna make the rounds for office hours. But it is an opportunity to just better engage outside the classroom with your faculty, and for them to understand who you are, and for you to understand who they are.
We might have mentioned it last week when we talked about introducing yourself to faculty, but getting to know them and they know your name in
Yeah,
the beginning of the semester, in a few weeks, something can come up. You
yeah,
might miss a class. You might have to leave early. something might come up when you email that faculty member and they then realize who you are. Oh yeah, that's Tammy. She introduced herself to me. It's it goes a long way,
Yeah,
and it helps faculty understand who you are, what your needs are, and I think that as a student, you'll feel more comfortable going to that faculty member when you do have like could be a small problem, it could be a big problem.
absolutely. I always like to use the example with students that the better a faculty member understands the circumstances that are going on in a student's life, the better they can support that student and use the best discretion. So
Exactly.
great. And the last thing, as we head into the second week of the semester, this is a great time to start exploring some of the offices and services we have here on campus
Mhm.
that perhaps you haven't interacted with throughout the summer or through orientation, or throughout your first week. So maybe you stop by one of our early support tables. Last week we were in the admin building and we were in Sullivan at the T. We're going to be in Sullivan T and in the administration building again. Stop by, get one of our resource pamphlets.
A
That
steering wheel.
come get a fidget spinner that is a bit too large, and just come check in and see what Worcester State has to offer. I do believe, and I probably shared this last week, like the sooner you know about certain services and support, the sooner you can benefit from them.
Mhm.
So don't wait. Anything else about the second week?
I have nothing.
Just keep getting it done. You're doing great. Remember, celebrate some of the wins that you have, especially when you're looking at the first week and maybe feeling moments of uh, being overwhelmed or some doubt. There was probably a lot of things that you did that went really, really well that you haven't taken a moment to celebrate, and celebrate those things and keep them going.
I would say when you talk about finding your flow, week 2, you're still looking.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
flow's gonna come week 4. We'll check in with that. But it's okay to have a couple losses, celebrate those wins.
There you go. Great. Awesome. On to question of the week. This is question of the week. Each week, we answer student questions. If you have a question of the week, make sure you email us asuccess@worcester.edu and use the subject question of the week. If we answer your question on the podcast, you'll get a prize. Everybody likes prizes.
I love prizes.
Yeah, I was getting asked last week by students, "What's the free stuff?" And I
Mm,
said, "Well, what is it? What does it matter? It's free."
right. It's
Yeah,
good though.
I agree. All right, you want me to go first?
Go.
Dear First Year Fearless, I want to make changes to my academic schedule. Where do I go?
I know, I know, I know.
Where do you go?
The Academic Success Center.
That's right. And
Oh,
again, you
do
have
I get a
until
prize?
you didn't ask the question, you
Oh,
just answered the question. And again, you have until September the 9th to add day courses, and you have until September the 16th to add or drop evening courses.
so just more detail about that. Making changes to your schedule. We would love to see you in person. So if you're here for class, stop over. We're still doing walk-in hours. You don't have
Mhm.
to make an appointment with your advisor. Don't come when you have a class.
Yeah,
Like, go to class and
that's
then
right.
pop over. Um, if you cannot make it in person, please email your academic advisor. That is okay too. We're
Yep,
just saying it's nice to see you in person. Sometimes we
yep,
can get cover a little bit more information. No, don't feel as rushed, but email is fine.
that's right. And I haven't really said this in this segment or the either one. The last day to drop day classes is also September the 16th.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think I said that yet. I think I just focused on evening courses. But on September the 16th, you can drop, it's the last day to drop day courses, and it's the last day to add or drop evening courses.
I think you need to see an academic advisor.
I probably do. I wouldn't be surprised. So,
We repeat this information because it is new. It's a little overwhelming because, in high school, you didn't really have these deadlines. You just went to your guidance counselor and said, "Get me out of this class."
That's
or
right.
put me in this class. Um, that's where college is different. There
Yep.
are deadlines. So yes,
Great.
adding 9-9, dropping 9-16.
There you go. All right, Tammy, you got a question?
So I had a student that emailed us asking about math placement. The question is, how do I take the math placement? Great question, right?
Yeah.
So here at Worcester State, our math placement test is administered by our math department over in the Sullivan building. Different majors need to take the math placement test. So it does get a little confusing about should I take it? Do I have to take it? And when should I take it? Checking in with your academic advisor first to see, do I need to take the math placement test is a great idea. Send them an email, easy information. And then sometimes you do have a semester or two to take that test. I'll be the first to say the majors that need to take it ASAP, like for before the first semester or in the first semester: biology, chemistry, computer science, help me, environmental science, help me. I think that's it. Other majors like business, nursing, occupational therapy, um, and some others, because I can't list them all off the top of
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
head. You have just a little bit of time. But that's why the academic advisor will tell you what that timeline is. If you're in one of those majors that I said you should be taking it ASAP, or you just want to take it,
Yeah.
you need to email the math department at, I don't want to get it wrong. So I'm like looking it up as I'm
That's what we're supposed to
talking.
do.
So do a little song for me as I look it up. You got nothing? Okay.
I got
I
nothing.
found it. Mathplacement@worcester.edu.
Great.
And the team over there gets back to you right away. You can let them know um, your major, what you're thinking. You want to take it right away. They readily have appointments available.
Awesome. There you go. Math placement.
Question answered.
Boom. Again, if you have a question that you want featured on First Year to Fearless, email asuccess@worcester.edu. Use subject line question of the week. All right, this is Campus Connections. Each week, we talk to an office of service that's important to get connected with. I am happy to be here with Amy Bellina from Financial Aid. Amy, how are we doing?
We're doing great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So, the financial aid office and myself actually are both located in the administration building. We're on the first floor in room 150. We are open Monday through Friday, 8:15 to 4:30, and we're happy to take students at any time, any questions that they have.
Cool. Tell everyone, like, what is like financial aid? Like, how do you get it?
Sure. So, financial aid, everything starts with the free application for federal student aid or the FAFSA form. Everyone has a good time with that form, but it's gotten to be much easier.
It has. Yeah.
So, if students have not already applied for financial aid, it is not too late for them to do so. I would certainly encourage students with any questions they have to come by to see us.
Great. So this is, as you know, this is a podcast for first year students. They're still learning the lingo, navigating the systems. Where do they find information about their financial aid?
Sure. So, students can find out information directly on their self service portal account. On that portal account, they can see their checklist of information if they need to submit anything to our office. In addition, they can view their financial aid award. They can also see, and this is very important, they can see who their financial aid counselor is. Each student here at Worcester State has their own financial aid counselor. And if they log into their portal account, they'll have access to who that person is and their contact information.
Awesome. Now, for students, new students, what are some important dates or reminders as it relates to maybe their current financial aid or their future financial aid?
Sure. So I would tell students, as far as deadlines are concerned, they first want to make sure that they are up to speed with anything that our office requires. So, again, going to that checklist on their self service portal account, it's going to tell them if there's anything that's missing. The sooner that they can get those documents into us, the better, because then we can make an award for them. I would also say students who have possibly student loans, they want to go ahead and make sure that they've done all 3 requirements for accepting the loan. They want to accept the loan, do master promissory notes, and as well as complete entrance counseling.
Cool. And now, financial aid, is it a one or done thing, or do you got to do it every year?
You do have to do it every year. So the FAFSA actually for next year is going to be available as early as October 1st.
Wow.
So students just want to make sure that they file after October 1st, but before May 1st of 2026 to get priority consideration for the 26-27 academic year.
Awesome. Amy, thanks for coming to hang out.
My pleasure.
See,
Anytime.
see. Remind our listeners again, where can they find the financial aid office and how do they get in contact with y'all?
Sure. So again, we're located in the administration building, first floor, room 150. They can contact us at email financial_aid@worcester.edu. And they can also contact their financial aid counselor directly.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
And now on to Fearless Tip of the Week.
What's your tip?
All right. This week, my tip kind of builds off of that wins and losses in the first week, but it's about establishing new routines. It takes 21 days to establish a routine. So imagine where you'll be by the end of this month if you start a routine that supports you inside and outside of the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So take some time, reflect on all the things and how they've gone in the first week. What are those slight resets you need to make heading into week 2? And how do you sustain those for 21 days? And if you're able to do that, that's what it takes to establish a new routine. Start of a semester is a great time to establish new routines because there's so much change and evolution going on. So have at it.
You kind of stole my tip.
Okay.
So it's about routines. It's
Okay.
about establishing new structures, but it's directly related to screen time. So I'm going to get into more detail. We all love binge watching shows. We love scrolling. I'm here to say, create some structure, set some limits, and in some cases, double up on your activities. So if you like to work out, binge your shows, get an iPad, get your phone, set it up on your elliptical. If you love to listen to, I don't know, First Year to Fearless,
Favorite podcast.
Do that while you're going for a walk. I think we all get lost in a time suck of scrolling, binging on our devices. And in a new environment where you need to shift and do some academic work and attend class and homework and readings, it can be a pretty hard time adjusting to that. So
Yeah.
that's my advice. That's my tip of the week is, if you love to binge and you're like, okay, no, but all day Saturday, Tammy, that's fine. But then outside of that, make sure everything else is getting done. Reward yourself with a full day of, binging a new show.
Yeah.
Or like I said, double up.
Yeah. That makes sense. I'm personally working on a new routine around screens myself.
You are.
Yeah, and it's about putting the phone down earlier before bed.
Mm.
I had recently it was probably a TikTok. I was gonna be like, I recently read, but like, let's be
No,
honest.
you
I
actually were
probably
watching the
I was
TikTok.
watching the TikTok.
Yep.
Yeah, so I was watching a TikTok about like screen time and unplugging and how much time between like when you finish using your phone and when you're trying to go to sleep. So I'm working on that one for the start of semester because let's be honest, those start of semester days are a little bit longer than those summer days were.
We're
So
going to check in with you next week about that.
I will I'll bring my phone and we can look at that setting that tells you how much I've used my phone, the screen time
Okay.
setting.
Holding you
So
accountable.
we'll try to capture some baseline data too. Cool. Awesome. Well, this has been Fearless Tip of the Week. We have so many things going on at Worcester State this week. I definitely want to shout out some of the things that I hope you were able to do last week. Hopefully you joined us for our new student fall welcome. Hopefully you checked out Woo State Scoop ice cream truck
It was so
outside
good.
of the student center. And hopefully maybe you took that trip to the Cape.
I
That
did
was over the
not take
weekend.
that trip to the Cape.
I haven't taken a trip to the Cape in a minute, but hopefully that was something that you were able to do. But heading into this week, there's so many awesome welcome week activities that are going on through the Office of Student Development and Leadership Development. I'm just going to read a few off that I think are really, really cool. And maybe you see me there. Monday night, SEC has their outdoor movie night. It'll be Wicked.
Tonight.
Wicked.
It's
This
wicked.
is usually where like I'd sing, but I don't know the songs. But that's going to be on the Wesleyan patio at 7:30. Rain location is the Sheehan Multipurpose Room. On Tuesday, September 9th, there's a traveling ice cream cart in the student center or at the student center. It starts at 11 a.m. So I fully intend on following that cart around all day because that is going to be really, really fun. Outside of the LGBTQIA plus community center and the student center, at 4 p.m. there's a BB Queer barbecue or cookout. So dig into some good eats at the BB Queer, a social event with food and prizes. September the 10th, we have the club kickoff and involvement fair. Check that out. I think that's 11 to 1 on the Bienenda Green and the Rain location for that student center. There's a lot of other awesome things going on. So make sure you check out all of the Welcome Week activities. Follow at WSU_OSILD on Instagram to learn more about all the awesome programs going on. Also,
Thanks.
today, Monday, the 8th, first New to Woo.
New to Woo.
New to Woo, Monday, 2 o'clock. If you're listening to this pod drops at like 9 a.m.
Plenty of time.
You got plenty of time to hit up New to Woo. Today you guys are talking about getting organized, textbooks, syllabi, supplies, all those things. Maybe some of that stuff that we talked about last week.
Yeah, this is a super hands-on workshop where we'll have students logging into Blackboard, looking at classes, really diving into each course. Because this is the first full week.
Yeah.
So it's really time to get organized and make sure you have everything you need. That's in the Academic Success Center in our front conference room, plenty of space. Hope to see you there.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's at 2 o'clock, Academic Success Center, Administration Building 130. Cool. Any other events we want to plug?
That's a lot. Go to class. I mean, we're asking a lot of these students. So I'm sensitive to that. Class is first priority. But all these other events that TK has mentioned will round out a pretty busy week.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if it's between going to class and going to an event, go to class, check out the event later on. Cool?
Cool.
Those are our events this week. All right, Tammy, I think that's everything.
Week 2, done.
Week 2. Count it. Hopefully you checked out some cool events. Hopefully you were able to hit that Sunday reset. Hopefully you're starting to make some connections, meeting people. Let's talk a little bit about next week. Next week, we're going to be talking about that continual adjustment to campus life and how you're going to be able to stay connected while you're maybe away from home or traveling from home more frequently as a commuter student and building new friendships. It'd be a great time.
A lot of times we talk about that college is different from high school. And for us, we see that as the most positive growth moment. It's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
But we also need to recognize that when we talk about college is different from high school, there could be a lot of you out there that don't like that. You don't like this newness. And so let's talk about it.
Sure.
Let's figure it out.
Yeah. It's been a while, but I remember when I went to college and it was a big change, but it was like such like a welcome change. And I was a resident student, so I felt like it was like a really important and necessary reset for me. And I think for many students, it's perhaps the beginning or the continuation of growing into who you're going to be. And I think that's awesome.
I mean, for me, it was a little different. I came from a very, very small high school where I knew everyone and I hung out with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And going off to college, my circle was a dot. It got tiny. And those first couple months were really hard.
Yeah.
And it was really difficult to make friends. And it took time. But it worked out. You know,
Yeah.
I'm here to say like it did work out.
Sure.
But I would like to talk next week a little bit about how it's not as easy or as positive as some folks will say, like, it's going to be great. It's going to be so different.
Yeah.
And for some students, it's like, well, it's not really that great. And yeah, it is different.
Sure.
And I want to talk about it.
Absolutely. Which again makes me just want to plug Wednesday, September 10th, club kickoff and involvement fair, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So.
Great event to just check it out, observe, see what's going on.
Awesome. Cool. Well, this has been First Year to Fearless. If you made it this far, this is the end of the second episode. And this is a great opportunity for you to leave a review. Leave a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you hear this podcast. Give us 5 stars.
5.
Write some witty banter. Screenshot it. Post it on Instagram. Tag us. All right? Use hashtag First Year to Fearless. If we pick your post, you win a free prize.
Or prizes.
Let's go. All right, Tammy, this has been fun.
As always.
We should do this again next week.
I'm not busy. Are you busy?
I'm definitely busy, but we'll do
I'll
this
make
again
time.
next week. Yeah, I will also manufacture time. Awesome. Hey, see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
This has been First Year to Fearless. Wherever you are in your first year journey, thriving, surviving, or somewhere in between, we hope today gave you something to hold on to. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and above all,
Stay fearless.